Hey everyone, Anthony Morganti here. In this video, I want to make you aware of something concerning the raw files from that brand new camera you just purchased. To clarify, when I'm talking about brand new camera, I'm talking about a camera that is not only new to you, but new to the market. For example, I recently purchased the Nikon ZFC. This camera was just released a few days ago, and I received mine Saturday. But what I found, and what you'll find if you buy a camera that is new to the market, is that the raw files won't work in most of the applications you try to load them in. For example, with the raw files from the Nikon ZFC, Lightroom, Capture One, Exposure X6, Photolab 4 won't even read those. As a matter of fact, Lightroom and Capture One won't even import the files. Exposure X6 and Photolab 4 will see the files in a folder, but it won't allow me to work on them. But what you may find is that Luminar AI and On1 PhotoRAW 2021 appear to read those files, and they allow you to work on them. But they're fooling you, and that's what I want to talk about here. Now we'll start out with Luminar AI. For example, I have this image. It's a raw file. You can see on the lower right hand side. It was taken with the Sony a7R IV. So it's a raw file from a camera that has been on the market for a while. And since that camera was released, Luminar AI has been updated a few times. If I go up to the Edit tab of Luminar AI, and once it renders, we'll go to the Light tab, you'll see at the top is white balance. And if I click that drop down, you can see I have a full array of choices. Below that is Profile, and if I click that drop down, you could again see there's a full array of choices there. Now if I jump back to the catalog and I click on this image of my cat Jonesy, you'll notice in the lower right hand side it says it's a raw file. It was taken with the Nikon ZFC. Still a raw file. I'll go to that Edit tab, and once it renders, if it renders, you'll see that the Light tab at the top, white balance, if I click that drop down, I don't have a full array of choices. It's only showing as shot. And there's no drop down at all for profiles. That is because Luminar AI isn't actually reading the raw file. It's actually plucking out the JPEG preview that is inside of the raw file, and that is what it is showing, and that is what you are working on. You could see that, the exposure latitude shown here is really limited. It looks kind of flat. I even tried to adjust it, and look at all the noise. Now this was shot at a very high ISO, 51,200. But if I go down to Denoise tab, you can see I have luminosity and color denoise maxed way out up, and I have the boost up, but there's still a ton of noise. It's because you're not really working on the raw file here. You're just working on the JPEG preview. And to further kind of prove that, I'll go back to the catalog, and here is a JPEG image. I'll go to the Edit tab, and once that renders, you'll see that, like that image of my cat, Jonesy, at the top, white balance, as shot. There's not an array of choices there. So that just proves that Luminar AI isn't actually allowing you to work on the raw file. It's just plucking out that kind of low-res JPEG preview that is inside of the raw file. And it's going to make you think your camera really stinks, you know? Well, you got to wait for Skylum software to update Luminar AI with a new camera support for that specific camera. Now, On1 PhotoRAW 2021 is similar. Here's that same raw file, and I'm using finger air quotes. I know you can't see me, of course. Here's that new raw file of the cat Jonesy, and you can see in tone and color, the profile's even grayed out. It won't allow me to even change the profile. So I can't do anything there. Now, unlike Luminar AI, if I jump down to white balance, there is an array of choices here. And unlike Luminar AI, On1 Photo Raw 2021 does allow that for JPEGs. But again, you're not working on a RAW file here. You're working on the JPEG preview that is embedded inside of the RAW file. Also, again, you can see all that noise. If I go down to the Details tab, you can see I have luminance and color noise reduction all the way up. And it still has a ton of noise. So again, it's making me think that this camera stinks. Well, it's not the camera. It's just that the software hasn't been updated yet to support the RAW files from that camera. So I want to make you aware of that. Now, of the 6 apps I normally do videos on, to recap, Lightroom and Capture One won't even allow you to import RAW files from brand new cameras until that support is in those applications, all right? Exposure X6 and Photolab 4 will find the folders. You'll see images in the folders, but it won't allow you to edit anything with those images. And finally, Luminar AI and On1 Photo Raw 2021 will allow you to edit the images, but you're not actually editing the RAW file. You're editing the JPEG preview that is embedded in the RAW file. So I hope that made sense, and I hope that helps you down the road. Now, what can you do? I'm probably going to get this question. I should mention it. A lot of, in the past, there is an application that Adobe makes that allows you to convert the manufacturer's RAW file, in this case a .nef file, to a DNG file. In the past, Adobe used to update that like before the camera was even released, and you'd be able to use that app to convert, for example, this .nef file into a .dng file, which Lightroom would read, which Luminar would read, which all the apps would read, right? Unfortunately, they no longer update that DNG profile or DNG to, I don't know, manufacturer to DNG, whatever it's called. I have a link to it in the description below if you're interested in it, but it won't work is what I'm trying to say. They don't update it until Lightroom gets updated and Camera Raw, Adobe Camera Raw get updated with the new camera profiles. Then that gets updated as well. So that's not going to help you. The best thing you could do if your camera manufacturer has their own software, like Nikon has software to edit RAW files, their RAW files, that software gets updated before the camera gets released. So what you can do is load your RAW files into those apps. Now I know Canon has their own software, Fuji I think has their own software, Nikon has their own software. I'm not sure who else might have their own software. So what you could do then again is download their software. It's usually free, I believe. And then you could load your RAW files from your brand new camera into it. You could edit it in it if you know how to use that software. If you don't know how to use that software, you could export the images from that software into a format that Lightroom, Luminar, whatever app you're using can read. Most often you won't be able to export a DNG file. So you're going to have to leave the realm of RAW for, until your app gets updated. In the case of the Nikon software, I know you could export it as a 16-bit TIFF. So that's probably the next best thing to a RAW file. So you would have to load all those RAW files from your brand new Nikon ZFC into Nikon software and then export it as 16-bit TIFFs, then import those 16-bit TIFFs into whatever software application you actually use. So it's kind of stinks, I know, but that's kind of the way it is until something better comes along. If anyone has any other method to read RAW files from brand new cameras, definitely leave it in the comments section below. Thank you, everyone who watches my videos. I really do appreciate it. I'll talk to you guys soon.